I mean, you got to tell me what crime they've
It's a
committed. I
good.
mean, I agree with you.
It's
It's a betrayal of the country. It's reckless beyond words. But being dishonest morons, unfortunately, that they've got to lock up a lot of
well,
DC if that's a
well,
crime.
when you go under oath, as many of these people did, and say Biden is fine, he's sharp as a tack. I mean, there's pretty ample evidence now that many of
Well,
those
then that's
people who were
perjury.
saying that,
I mean,
yes,
then if you want to get people on perjury, that's the statute. Yeah, if that's the case, that's the
I mean,
case.
at a minimum, you could get them on perjury. But I mean, this would be a great question for a U.S. attorney. If there is a conspiracy to cover up the health of the president of the United States who is unable to do the job, and remember when Hillary said there was a vast right wing conspiracy,
Yeah, of
and
course.
everybody kind of ridiculed it about Bill Clinton. I think it is clear at this point that there was a vast left wing conspiracy to conceal Joe Biden's dementia. And there were many people who knew about this and chose to lie publicly, sometimes under oath, about his fitness to be president of the United States. I mean, the irony here, Buck, is all these people lectured us about being on the right side of history. And I believe they engaged in the most indefensible act in the White House that any of us, by and large, have seen in any of our lives.
We could also just do we could do a supercut of, and I mean some of these exact individuals that you're talking about whose names were forgotten by, and it's not, when we're talking about Biden forgetting a name, it's not, somebody saying something and then correcting themselves a second later. It's he probably had a conversation with the person with that name, having no idea what the difference is because he has dementia, okay? Because his brain is not functioning the way that it used to. And all of these people, though, Clay, were making the case when Trump was in office that we should invoke that his advisor should invoke the 25th Amendment on Donald Trump. They all know what the 25th Amendment is. If this was not the time to invoke the 25th Amendment, why do we have it? Why is it even on the books? Is there a more clear-cut case in the history of this country while that amendment has been in force when it should have been used? No. And yet they used it as a political weapon against Trump and not as a tool to help the country and do their duty by the American people. This is catastrophic, man. I mean, the amount of credibility and integrity and decency that has been just lit on fire in front of everybody, not just you, me, the right wingers. Anybody with a brain who's paying attention knows this is terrible. What they did was
I'll
just.
tell you this. Sorry to cut you off, Buck, but
Yeah.
I'm the more I read about this, the more fired up I get. We had congressional hearings about January 6th. Why would Republicans not have hearings and an investigation into Joe Biden's dementia and the cover-up that Democrats provided for it and call all of these people under oath and make them testify about what they saw based on some of the revelations that are coming out in this book? Tell me why that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. We know some people who could get this in motion.
Anybody suggest it? I haven't heard anybody suggest it, but I mean, if you use Jan 6th as an argument, that's the worst day since the Civil War. That's what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tried to say. Where does this rank covering up the president's dementia for years in incredible danger that our country faced? Not to mention, who was the actual president?
Well, we also need to know, and there have been people raising the issue of the auto pen and its usage. Yep. Now, a lot of people use auto pens. It's not that there was an auto pen used by a president. It's, did the president actually know that his signature was going on these things? Right? If your wife says, sign my check, and she says that's fine, it's not forgery. Like, you're not going to get in trouble for it, right? If you're signing checks and you're giving yourself money and people don't know, and that's not okay. And the same thing would apply to the president.
I mean, you're so right here. And I mean, there is significant examination, for instance, in contract rights. Did someone understand? Did they have the wherewithal to bind themselves or a corporation to a contract based on their signature if they were not of sound mind to be engaging in it? In other words, if you are, and this is in an insane asylum, you can't sign away the property value of your house. You lack the functional ability to do that. It sounds to me like Biden did for most of his tenure.
Companies rely on customer databases. For some businesses, particularly online stores, it's their lifeline. They go to great lengths to protect their customers' info, but cyber hackers go to great lengths too, and sometimes gain access through a data breach. These cyber hackers want that data because they can sell it quickly on the dark web to fellow cyber thieves looking to exploit the online identities they obtain. It's an example of how online identity theft happens and how cybercrime and identity theft are affecting our lives. It's why you want to have a LifeLock membership to protect yourself from online identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for risks to your online identity, detects and alerts you to potential threats you may not spot on your own, like malware planted on your phone. And if you do become a victim of identity theft, a dedicated US-based restoration specialist will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Easy to help protect yourself with LifeLock. Join now, save 40% off your first year with my name, Buck, as your promo code. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go online to lifelock.com and use promo code BUCK for 40% off. Terms apply.